Those who are happy. Those who are not happy, I guess, are silent for now.
Uche Kuro for us in Port Harcourt. Thank you very much, Uche, for that. Still talking election victories, but this time in Kaduna State. After his Supreme Court victory, Governor of Kaduna State, Uba Sani, arrived to a rousing welcome from supporters of the APC and other residents of the state last Friday. A crowd gathered at the Murtala Muhammad Square in the state capital to welcome the governor. The governor promised to be fair and just and also to ensure more democratic dividends for residents who have entrusted him with this mandate. He also extended a hand of fellowship to members of the PDP, promising to carry everyone along. For more on this, Governor of Kaduna State, Uba Sani, joins me on the news at 7. Congratulations, Your Excellency, on your victory at the Supreme Court. How confident were you of victory, and why were you so hopeful?
Thank you very much for having me. Like I said during the reception organized in my honor by the good people of Kaduna State, I made it clear that I welcome the idea of my own opponent to approach judiciary to ventilate his own grievances. And for me, that was the right thing to do. Is that's the way to do it. That's how every Democrat should behave. And of course, now that the whole issue is over, the Supreme Court has already given the final judgment. I call on everyone, all the stakeholders, including my opponent in the last election, Honorable Isa Ashuru, and other stakeholders to join hands with me to move our step forward. I believe it's not about personal glory, it's about the glory of Kaduna State. And all of us have something to contribute. And of course, since May 29 last year, we've been running people-centered, inclusive and pro-development administration in Kaduna State. A lot of other opponents of mine in the last election have since joined me, working closely with me from other political parties, and we've been working together to take Kaduna State to the higher level. And for me, everyone is welcome. All the citizens of Kaduna State have something to offer. Will certainly be given opportunity to move our state forward. We have a lot of things to tackle, a lot of challenges, and I believe we cannot do it alone. Everyone has something to contribute, and that is what we have been doing since May 29. I will continue to do that.
And talking about moving Kaduna State forward, at the front burner of your administration is that rural revitalization drive, and it's to lift the rural communities out of poverty. How do you hope to do this?
Of course, since the beginning of our administration from 29 May last year, we've done a groundbreaking in about 16 local governments where we are now constructing roads linking villages in our rural communities. Of course, the essence of reaching out to rural local governments is because it's one of the major agenda of our government. We believe we have to reduce the infrastructural deficit between the urban local governments and rural local government. We are trying to link our farms with market. That's the only way we can be able to support those in the rural areas and revitalize the economies of those people living in the rural areas. And as you are aware, when I came in, the first thing I did was sign in executive order to be able to bring about 2.5 million vulnerable, underserved, and poor back to financial services sector. And as we are speaking, we open account to about 1.2 million vulnerable and underserved people within our rural communities. We have also been able to partner with our development partners, particularly as we are speaking. We are working closely with the African Development Bank. Even yesterday, I had a long conversation with the president of African Development Bank, that is Professor Adeshina, and where Kaduna State will be the model in trying to support us in repositioning our primary healthcare centers, because the ADB have seen that we are advanced more than any other state in Nigeria, because only recently we equipped about 290 primary healthcare centers with state-of-the-art equipments, and the African Development Bank have now come in to support us in computerizing those primary healthcare centers, supporting us with providing water and sanitation, as well as ensuring that they are being equipped with solar power. And that's what's happening, and we are working with them. And if you look at also our partnership with Qatar Charity, which they have already supported our state with a lot of grants. As we are speaking now, we did a groundbreaking, was it 4 months ago? And so far about 100 houses have been built by Qatar Charity, which is in form of a grant. They have also built hospital for us, built dairy for us, and also markets for the less privileged, which will be to the tune of about $20 million. Of course, when we also look at the area of human capital development, which is a key aspect of our government also, we realize that we have a lot of challenges in terms of out-of-school children. And because of that, we approach a Kuwait fund. Kaduna State will be the first state in Nigeria to benefit from Kuwait fund in conjunction with the Islamic Development Bank. They have already advanced us with $28 million to support us in reducing the out-of-school children in Kaduna State. So these are some of the interventions, not to also mention our partnership with a German development agency that have also working closely with our smallholder farmers, giving them some level of training in terms of improving their own capacity, linking them up with some level of technology where they can be able to improve their knowledge in terms of agronomic practice, and supporting our smallholder farmers so that they can access credit and enhance the agriculture in Kaduna State. So we have been working closely with development partners, some in terms of supporting us with loan and some grants. So we've gone far in that. And another area we are also working closely with our development partners is in the area of infrastructure, which again the African Development Bank are also helping us in agricultural infrastructure. But our focus now is in the area of tomato, ginger, maize, rice, and soybeans. These are major crops that Kaduna State is known to be leading in Nigeria. So we've been really hitting, we've been working closely with all those that are interested in working with Kaduna State.
I hear you, Your Excellency. But then let's talk about Tudunbiri village. Walk us through efforts that are on to rebuild these communities. And do you have any idea how the funds donated to this community is actually being distributed, as well as progress made with inquiry into that incident?
Yeah, the Tudunbiri community is one of the most peaceful community in Kaduna State, as you are aware. And when the incident happened, we personally took it very seriously. And if you could recall, I reached out to both the president and the vice president. And I want to thank also the Nigerians who came from different parts of this country to solidarize with us, support us, and work closely with our government. We only last week inaugurated a committee that comprises some government officials, religious leaders, members of the Tudunbiri communities, as well as traditional institutions, to look into all the donations given to the community. And as we are speaking, we are receiving the donations, and the committee inaugurated will be working closely with the families of those directly affected to ensure that those families benefit from this contribution. Like I said, from the beginning, Kaduna State government took care of everything. But that was our responsibility as a government, because we have responsibility to protect the lives and properties of our citizens. It's a constitutional responsibility which Kaduna government took the lead. But having said that, a lot of citizens of this country came to Kaduna, met donations. Some have met pledges. They are going to certainly, I'm not in my mind, they will certainly fulfill their promises, because we are still, the committee is reaching out to most of the people that promise to support the community. But the most important thing is the committee inaugurated to look into those donations, have about 5 members of the families of those that lost their lives. So they are leading in the committee, and they are the ones who decide how this money will be given to the families of those affected. So that is going well. The community is happy. The families of those that lost their lives are now comfortable with the way Kaduna government have been handling the issue. That's one aspect. The second aspect is a promise made by the federal government under President Asuwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu to rebuild the community. Last week, or precisely, let me say about 10 days ago, we had a meeting with the communities, because it's not only Tudunbiri, that's why the incident happened. But those affected came from 3 different communities. So we had the meetings with their leaders and community leaders within those 3 communities, and they have agreed on a particular location they want the federal government to build houses for them, schools for them, hospital for them. So that was the consensus. And after that agreement, I came to Abuja, met Mr. President, because Mr. President is very serious about the situation. He has been particularly worried about the situation, and he always asks me about the condition of the families of those that were affected. And of course, as you are aware, the Vice President also is leading to ensure that he personally supervises the rebuilding of the community. So from what we discussed with Mr. President and Mr. Vice President only last week, the project will commence by the grace of God in the next 10 days. That is what is happening, and of course the community are very happy. They're in good spirit, because when the incident happened, Kaduna government took responsibility of everything, and we gave them psychosocial counseling. That's why they are now happy and everything is going well.
Okay, good to hear that from you. But then let's talk about security. In your last security meeting, you made calls for the establishment of forward operating bases. Could you provide some insights into the rationale behind this decision and how these bases would actually contribute to enhancing security in vulnerable regions? You could also touch on the Security Trust Fund.
Yeah, so thank you very much. Like I said, security of safety and property of the people of Kaduna State is #1 agenda of our government. Of course, I had series of meetings with both the Chief of Defense Staff, who happens to be from Kaduna, General Christopher Musa, as well as the Chief of the Air Staff and the Chief of the Army Staff, General Labaja, because he was the GOC 1 Mechanized Division in Kaduna before he was appointed as the Chief of Army Staff. He knows the terrain very well. He was familiar with the terrain. So I approached him, as well as the CDS and the Chief of the Air Staff, and they cooperated with me because they know the terrain very well. And because of that, now we're making progress, because I told them we need more boots on grounds, and they asked me to provide 2 locations in those poor-line areas where these incidents always happen. That is the southern part of Kaduna that comprises Zangon Katab, our local government, as well as part of Jama local government, as well as the other part of Kaduna, that is the central zone of Kaduna that comprises of Bindingwari, your local government. And they agree that it is important to establish 2 forward bases, operating bases in those locations. So right now, as we are speaking, Kaduna government have already provided defense headquarters, a location around Zangon Katab down to Kachia, local government, where they are going to have at least 1 forward operating base. And another location, Kaduna government also will provide another location around Giwa local government down to some Benungwari area, where they are going to also establish another forward operating base there. And that would really help us in tackling the problem of insecurity, particularly the banditry in our own area. For me, it's key. But the most important interventions we made in Kaduna State is ensuring that we always hold core security meetings virtually every 2 weeks, because that's the only way we can work closely with all the security agencies to also ensure that there is intelligence sharing, because we believe all the relevant security agencies must work together. But the issue of hello?
Your Excellency, yes, I was talking about, yes, the announcement you made about holding security meetings fortnightly to keep abreast of happenings in your state and to be able to provide that much needed welfare and security for Kaduna State residents. That's great, and thank you very much for taking our time to share this vision
thank you very much.
On TVC News at 7. His Excellency Governor of Kaduna State, Uba Sani, thank you for joining us. When the news at 7 returns.